Welcome everyone to another edition of Making an Impact. I am your host, Simply Sensational Billy James. Okay, it is lockdown from New York City, the Manhattan Center. Oh, we have a great lineup in this lockdown Special Impact Wrestling. We got the Revolution, the Cowboy James Storm, and Abyss defending the TNA Tag Team titles against the Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, inside the 6-size steel cage. Matter of fact, all the matches take place in the 6-size steel cage. We also got the match that we've all been waiting for, Havoc versus Awesome Kong. That's in the steel cage. Also, we have a grudge match that's coming to maybe a final fruition. Eric Young, Showtime Eric Young, taking on the It Factor, Bobby Roode. It's personal. In a handicaps match, it's Tyrus taking on Mark Andrews and Rockstar Spud. That's going to be interesting. And of course, it's Lethal Lockdown, the Beatdown Clan, MVP, Kenny King, Loki, and Samoa Joe taking on Team Angle, Kurt Angle, Gunner, Austin Aries, and an additional teammate. We don't know. They're down one man. So a lot of great going on tonight, and we're going to get to it right away. Okay, we have our first match of the night, and it was for the TNA Tag Team titles as the Cowboy James Storm and Abyss of the Revolution defended the titles against the #1 contenders, Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardys. Okay, the match started out even at first, but the Hardys started taking advantage, and they had good control over the match. And all of a sudden, Manic climbs over top of the cage and gets inside the cage and tries to interfere. He's distracting the Hardys momentarily, but the Hardys are quite prepared. And don't ask me why they had him with them, but they pull out a pair of handcuffs and handcuff Manic to the ropes. Then Cowboy James, Storm and Abyss started getting the advantage back shortly. A lot of great spots during this match. There was one where they both hit the Twist of Fate on Storm and Abyss. It was, great teamwork between Matt and Jeff Hardy, but Abyss and James Storm worked well together. James Storm came off of the shoulders of Abyss with a nice elbow drop. It was quite fierce and hard. Kobushki, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that name right because I'm bad pronouncing names, on the outside for the Revolution. All of a sudden, it reaches through the camera hole and drags Matt Hardy out of the ring. Now, in case you're wondering, in a standard lockdown match, you can win the match either by climbing over top of the cage, going through the cage door, pinfall, or submission. However, since Jeff did not go over the top of the cage or through the door, the match is still going on. Matt Hardy tries to take on the Revolution on the outside of the ring, but he's dealing with the great Sonata and Koboski. I hope I'm pronouncing that right again. Anyway, Sonata climbs to the top of the cage, sprays the mist in Jeff Hardy's face. This gives the advantage to Abyss and Storm. Storm hits the last call. 1, 2, 3. Still, your TNA Tag Team champions, Storm and Abyss. Now, the big story is after the match, they lay the beat down on Jeff Hardy. They've put Matt Hardy through a table on the outside of the ring. They're trying to do the same to Jeff Hardy. Hardy tries escaping. He's climbing over top of the ring. He's caught at the top and falls over and goes legs into the steel cage door. Ouch! Definitely not getting laid that night. Make matters worse, James Storm then hits a hard kick to the head, followed by the cowbell, sending Jeff Hardy falling straight down. He hits shoulder, I believe left shoulder, back first into the steel steps. It was a nasty bump for sure. My wife was watching it with me. She's not a wrestling fan, but she was asking me, was he seriously hurt? And I told her it was a planned bump. In case you all don't know, that TNA had gone on their UK tour, and Jeff Hardy cannot go on those tours due to a felony conviction, drugs, that took place several years ago. We all remember that terrible match at Victory Road where Jeff Hardy was supposed to face Sting. It was a tremendous disaster, but nevertheless, the bump was planned so that they could explain Jeff Hardy's absence from the tour. Nevertheless, I'm sure that he was seriously sore after that match, especially after taking that bump. What a hell of a match. It was a great way to start off Lockdown. Now, who is the #1 contender to tag team titles now that the Hardys have gotten their title shot? Really not a lot of tag teams in TNA. They need to get some more tag teams. Right now, it's just the Bromans, the Wolves, the Hardys, Storm, and Abyss. Now, there was the tag team of Bram and Magnus, but they split them up, basically turning Magnus face and such, which kind of shocks me considering the fact that Magnus holds the contract for a TNA World Tag Team title shot. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets the next title shot, but if I had to put any money on it, I would probably say it's going to be the Wolves, Eddie Edwards, and Davey Richards, but we'll just have to wait and see if that's the case. Okay, we got the match that we have been waiting for. Havok versus Awesome Kong, and let me tell you something, we were not disappointed, boys and girls. It was one hell of a match for sure. Oh my gosh. Havok came out first, was in the ring. Awesome Kong comes down, and Havok gets out of the ring and goes straight for Kong. They brawled outside of the ring with Havok having a little better of it after nailing Kong's face into the steel steps. Havok goes for that bear hug powerbomb type maneuver, but Kong is able to hit a blow to the head, breaks it, and takes Havok into the ring. They butt heads for a little bit, and then it gets good. They try to knock each other down. Finally, Havok is able to get Kong off her feet. And we have a couple of little power moves. Then they try to choke slam each other. But finally, Havok is able to hit the Harlot Slayer choke slam on Kong. But Kong gets right back up to her feet. Kong tries for a power bomb, but Havok is able to block it and knocks Kong down. She tries for a spear type maneuver, but Kong sidesteps her, and Havok goes straight into the steel cage wall. Awesome Kong tries to go for a body splash from the top rope, but Havok is able to get back up and drops Awesome Kong and stunning her on top of the ropes. Havok climbs up the ropes, kicking at Awesome Kong, but Awesome Kong is able to trip her, and as she starts to come off the cage, Kong turns it into a one-handed power bomb. And then Awesome Kong goes back to the top rope, goes for a body splash, and by bing, by boom, 1, 2, 3, your winner, Awesome Kong. Definitely got to check this match out. I mean, two of the most big women that you'll ever see go head to head. This was a money-making match, in my opinion. Now that Awesome Kong has this win, what's next for Awesome Kong? Does the feud continue? Or does Kong set her eyes on Taryn Terrell, the current TNA Knockouts champion? That will be interesting to see. Also, what is the other Knockouts going to do? You know, you have Madison Rayne, a 5-time former TNA Knockouts champion. And of course, Gail Kim, a former 4-time Knockouts champion. Angelina Love, a record-breaking 6-time TNA Knockouts champion. You have 2-time TNA Knockouts champion Brooke. And Rebel, who's never held the title. And you have former TNA Knockout champion Havoc. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in the Knockouts division. But for right now, Awesome Kong has put all the Knockouts on notice. She's back. And she's ready to tear up the division. Okay, we had Eric Young versus Bobby Roode, and it was a grudge match for sure. Bobby Roode starts out strong first, and he's taking it to Eric Young, but Eric Young comes back, slamming Bobby Roode face first in the cage, and I believe he hit a belly suplex and tried to go for a pinfall. Bobby Roode comes back, he gets some offense in until he gets caught with a power slam from Young, but Young can only get a 2 count. Young calls for some help from the back. MVP comes down with a steel chair and shoves it through the camera hole, and Eric Young tries to swing it at Bobby Roode, but Bobby Roode is able to dodge it, and then they get going. Roode tries to go for a Roode bomb, but Young blocks it. He tries to go for a pile driver, but Roode is able to block it. Roode tries to go for a suplex, but it's blocked by Eric Young. And Eric Young goes to the top rope. He goes for a top rope elbow drop. He hits it, but he only gets a 2 count. They brawl some more, but finally Bobby Roode is able to get the advantage back, using the steel chair to beat down Eric Young. And he sets Young up and hits the Roode bomb, sending Eric Young to the steel chair. 1, 2, 3. Bobby Roode, your winner. It was a nice match and such, and I guarantee you this is a match you ought to go and watch because this was really awesome. A great storytelling, a lot of emotion in this match, and that's what wrestling's all about. Not only is it about putting on a great match, it's also about telling a story. And there was a story here about friendship, being portrayed. The story about Bobby Roode and Eric Young coming up together, both from Canada. They've both known each other for a long time. And, you know, there's a lot of interesting history behind the two. Bobby Roode, for example, was trained by, believe it or not, Sean Morley, a.k.a. Val Venus, in case you didn't know it. On the flip side, Eric Young was trained by Scott D'Amore of Team Canada. So a little interesting tidbit of information there. Is the feud over between Bobby Roode and Eric Young? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if that is the case, but it was one hell of a match. If it is over, where does Eric Young go from here? And where does Bobby Roode go? Currently, right now, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion is Bobby Lashley. Where does Roode stand in the mix of this? Currently, right now, as far as TNA is concerned, Bobby Roode is the #1 contender to Bobby Lashley's TNA title. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. Great match. Actually, during the match, Eric Young was busted open and was bleeding quite, proficiently. So it was kind of nice to see that on national TV. They could have easily, blurted out or anything like that. So kudos to Destination America for letting the match air the way it needed to air. Yeah, great match, and you know, 3 great matches in a row so far. Lockdown, that's pretty freaking awesome. Okay, we had our grudge match. Rockstar, Spud, and Mark Andrews, the winners of British Boot Camp 1 and 2, Spud being the winner of 1 and Andrews being the winner of 2, taking on Tyrus in a 2-on-1 handicap match inside the 6-side steel cage. Not much to this match because Tyrus was dominant. The Spud and Andrews did their best. They did hit this nice double drop kick on Tyrus that had him stunned when he tried to do a double choke slam. They really did try to get the offense in. Now Spud had one hell of a spot. You really got to show him props and give him respect for it. He hit a nice senton from top of the cage onto Tyrus. Really took him out, but he also took out Spud. Andrews tries to go for the outside, outside the steel cage to get the win, but both men have to escape, of course. Andrews, as he's about to get out, he gets tripped in the ankle by EC3, hits face first on the steel steps. Spud tries to climb over to help Andrews, but he gets the door slammed shut in his face by EC3, who's mocking him. He turns around. Tyrus hits the Asian spike by Bing Bob Boom. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Tyrus. After the match, EC3 comes in the ring with the Clippers, trying to shave the head of Rockstar Spud. He has the cord going through the steel cage to a extension cord. But before he can do anything with the razor shears, Jeremy Borash unplugs it. This irritates EC3, who comes outside the steel cage and chases Jeremy Borash out into the crowd. Don't know where this feud's going. I hope it's going to be over soon. I'm gaining a little, and I mean, when I say little, I mean little respect for Rockstar Spud. I think if he cashes in his X Division title match and stays in the X Division, I might have a little more respect for him. But for right now, I think we all knew it was foregone conclusion that Tyrus was going to win. You can skip this match. This is the one match of Lockdown that I would say you can skip, not a problem. So I think we won't see the culmination of this feud being over until we have EC3 versus Rockstar Spud, and until EC3 is recouped from and cleared from his elbow injury. We won't be seeing that match anytime soon. Okay. Earlier, I don't know when this was, they said earlier in the day, Robbie E challenged Brooke to a match, or well, a contest of sorts, a race as he called it, and he basically blamed Brooke for their loss in the Mason race, which Brooke laughed. The challenge was that they would spin a baseball bat on their head they would spin around with their head on a baseball bat 3 times. They would race to the top, climb over the steel cage, get in the ring, and then race out the door and race to the finish line. They just showed it in, as Robbie E was describing how it was going, they showed the motions. They showed him trying to pulling at Brooke to keep her from climbing up the steel cage. She gets in, she hits a nice hurricanrana on Robbie, but Robbie's able to push her down as she's running up the rampway. He stops and poses with the selfie cam. Bad move, bro. He gets nailed in the cojones by Brooke, and then Brooke takes that selfie stick and throttles him a little more in the gonas with that stick. And then she takes her own selfie with Robbie with the selfie stick. And then Brooke prances her sexy ass across the finish line. And as the overall voice says, I hope you won't be embarrassed, Robbie, when you get beat by a girl. I still find it's interesting that they're pursuing this feud. In case you didn't know, Brooke and Robbie were a real-life couple, but they split toward the end of the film of The Amazing Race. And now they're taking the end of their relationship and making it into a wrestling storyline. Hey, only in wrestling do you have this happen. I have to say though, God, Brooke, that ass is smoking hot. Yeah, I'm a guy, so sue me. Now that Velvet Sky's gone, it looks like who's Brooke going to feud with? Are we going to have a Brooke versus Robbie match in the ring, or will they have Angelina Love step up and take that slot? We'll just have to wait and see. I'm interested in the feud, but I like to see Brooke get back into the Knockouts title picture. I want to see my girl get another title reign and such. So we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen. Okay, we had Lethal Lockdown. With King start out for the Beatdown Clan, and of course Gunner started out for his team, Team Angle. Before I get started on that, earlier in the night, MVP, Eric Young, King were in the ring. They called down Team Angle. Team Angle comes down, and MVP tries talking to him out of the match, saying, "Look, you go through it, we're going to end your career." As they're talking, Gunner gets attacked by Low-Ki and Samoa Joe, who goes to work on his arm and his right arm, and they beat the living hell out of him before Angle and Aries can get to his defense. So it looked like we were going to be down, and Angle's team was going to be down another man, but Gunner refused, said he was going to still be in the match and that he was going to start out the match. So that's what leads us to King being the first man out for his team, Gunner out for his team. At first, King looks like he's going to get the advantage, but Gunner comes back, takes a steel trash can to King, works hard over him, and tries to keep the advantage. However, it doesn't last long when Low-Ki comes out, and Low-Ki and King double team on Gunner, keeping them down until Aries comes down. Aries starts with a flurry of moves, hitting a drop kick on Low-Ki, the discus clothesline on, I want to say King. It was so quick and fast. So it looks like we got it even, and then Samoa Joe comes down, and Samoa Joe gets the momentum back for his team. Angle's out next for Team Angle, and it's even Steven until MVP comes down, and then it goes to town. The Beatdown Clan working over on Team Angle has the advantage for the most part. Then Bobby Lashley comes down. It looks like Bobby Lashley is going to side with MVP and the Beatdown Clan, but he tricks them, clotheslines MVP, goes after Low-Ki and Samoa Joe, taking them down until King is able to hit a low blow to the knee on Lashley, and then all four of the members of the Beatdown Clan regain the advantage. But all of a sudden things change around. Kurt Angle is able to block the Muscle Buster. He turns it into the Angle Lock. Aries gets the last chancellery on King, I believe, while Gunner gets Low-Ki into the torture rack. MVP can't believe his eyes of what he sees. He low blows Lashley, tries to go for the drive-by, but gets speared by Lashley. 1, 2, 3. Team Angle gets the win. and stand high in the ring. Interesting that this went down like this. Bobby Lashley sided with Team Angle. What's going to happen? Where does Bobby Lashley go in this? You know, Kurt Angle made it clear that he wants to get a title shot against Lashley. So will we see that happen? And what about the #1 contender, Bobby Roode? Where does that go? And where does the beatdown claim go from here after this loss? In case you're wondering, this is Samoa Joe's first loss in Lethal Lockdown. Before this Lethal Lockdown match, he was 3-0 in Lethal Lockdown. If you're wanting a little tidbit of information, Austin Aries goes 2-1 in Lethal Lockdown matches, with MVP going 1-1. His only other Lethal Lockdown match was last year, where his team beat Team Dixie. So it's a good match. You have to go and watch it. It's a lot of high, fast-paced stage action. I know the way I describe it, it was pretty fast, but hey, you know, you got to catch it and watch it. You won't be disappointed. Okay, this was a great Impact Wrestling Lockdown. It was pretty awesome. The only match that I wasn't too thrilled about was the handicap match, Tyrus versus Mark Andrews and Rockstar Spud. What can I say? Awesome Kong versus Havoc. It delivered. Storm and Abyss defended tag team titles against the Hardys. It delivered. Young versus Roode absolutely delivered. Lethal Lockdown delivered. Had a lot of great things come out. We had a little backstage thing with Velvet Sky making her departure, saying goodbye to Angelina Love. It was interesting. Angelina Love gave the fist like good riddance. So that was interesting to see. Bobby Roode, after his match, made it clear that he's refocusing on regaining the TNA World Heavyweight title. A lot of interesting things to see what's going on in TNA. I believe next week starts the first of the TV tapings from the UK tour. Looking forward to that. Unfortunately, there was a couple of spoilers I couldn't avoid because even TNA spoiled it. But the one I'm really looking forward to is the return of the former 3-time TNA Knockouts champion and one of the greatest active women's wrestlers alive today. Oh yes, I'm talking about the one and only Mickie James. So I can't wait for that. Also, in case you're wondering, Impact Wrestling, TNA has made it available. Episodes of Impact Wrestling are available to watch on ImpactWrestling.com. They realized that TNA is not available in some markets, so they make it available to those who can't or who do not have Destination America. So that's an alternative way for you to watch Impact Wrestling. What can I say? It's I think their tapings at the New York Manhattan Center has been great. The fans have really been behind the matches. Almost every knockout match they've had, they've been chanting "better than Divas." So that's very, very interesting. Can't wait to see. Guarantee you they're going to have a big crowd for the UK tour. It's going to be great to see those TV tapings. Also, later on in this month, they will be doing more TV tapings, this time down in Orlando, Florida at Universal Studios. So that's going to be nice. Also, if you live in the Orlando area and you're going to be down that way during those taping days, I think they're going to tape maybe 6 Impact Wrestlings, and they're going to do a couple of one-night-only pay-per-views too. Anyway, what I was getting to is there's a nice VIP package for $75 that gets you a VIP preferred seating and a meet and greet pass and a lot of other cool stuff. $75, you can't beat that, and it's good for all 5 days. I read it up on it, so that's a good deal if you're going to be down in that area. So anyway, plug time. Don't forget to catch me every Tuesday night along with my good buddy John P. Mayer, Sean the Shark Williams, Stat Boy, Hamey, and others as we talk about what's going on, WWE, TNA, Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor. A lot of good stuff we talk about. It's always heated. It's always debated. It's the wrestling debate on the Nerdport Network via Blog Talk Radio. It's 8 Eastern, 7 Central every Tuesday night. Also, my good buddy John P. Mayer has his finger on the pulse of independent wrestling. You got to check that out. An independent point of view. It's usually every Wednesday nights. You got to check that out. Where John especially has his finger on the pulse of pro syndicate wrestling, and he's had some great interviews. One of the greatest I think he scored was with Brian Myers, aka Kurt Hawkins, formerly known in the WWE. So I think it was a great coup for John. So you got to check that out. Also, don't forget, I occasionally have a Pipe Bomb up on my site, so you got to check that out. So that's it for this week's edition of Making an Impact, and I'll catch you all next week.